Okay, so we're diving into some pretty fascinating stuff today. We've got this, well, kind of unexpected moment in U.S. politics, right?
Yeah, I'd say so. It's definitely interesting how the passing of former President Jimmy Carter is sparking all these conversations.
Right, and from some pretty different voices, too. Like we've got Biden giving this really heartfelt tribute.
And then on the other side, there's Trump, who's well, he's weighing in as well in a way that honestly kind of surprised me a little.
Yeah, and it all kind of brings us to this bigger question about, like, leadership and what it means to be, a decent human being, even, or maybe especially in the world of politics.
Exactly. It's like everyone's looking back at Carter, this guy who lived to be 100, right? And they're thinking about, not just his presidency, but who he was as a person.
So, like, where should we start with all this? Because you jump into, like, Biden's reaction first.
Sure, yeah. I mean, you can just tell how much Carter meant to him, He called him a dear friend, someone he's known for, what was it, like over 50 years?
Yeah, over half a century, he said. And the way he told that story about, can you imagine Jimmy Carter just walking by someone in need?
Right. That really paints a picture, doesn't it? You can just see Carter stopping to help no matter what.
It totally does. It's like Biden's highlighting this core part of who Carter was.
Yeah.
His empathy, his compassion,
And I think he's also subtly drawing a contrast, right?
Oh, how so?
Well, that word decency that Biden keeps using, he doesn't come right out and say it, but he's definitely implying that it's something Carter had that maybe isn't as common in politics these days.
Oh, I see what you mean. It's like he's saying, look, this is what a decent leader looks like.
Exactly. And then you have Trump's response, which honestly, I wasn't expecting to be so, positive.
Yeah, it was kind of surprising, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like he even talked about how tough the presidency is, how much pressure there is.
Yeah. And he acknowledged Carter's, patriotism, his love for America, which is, I don't know, maybe a sign that even with all their differences, they can at least agree on that.
Maybe. It's making me wonder, though, like, could this be one of those rare moments where people from different sides of the political spectrum actually, like, find some common ground?
It's possible. I mean, it's interesting that both Biden and Trump, in their own ways, seem to be using Carter as a kind of, example.
Yeah, a model for what good leadership can look like.
Right. And that's where it gets really interesting, I think, because it's not just about politics anymore. It's about character.
Totally. It's about being a decent person, whether you're a president or, just living your everyday life.
Exactly. Carter's legacy reminds us that decency isn't just about words. It's about how you treat other people. It's about your actions, your choices.
So what do you think? What would a world with more decency in leadership actually look like? I mean, that's kind of a big question, but...
It is a big question. And honestly, I don't know if there's one easy answer, but maybe that's the point. Maybe Carter's legacy is about all of us, asking ourselves that question and then trying to live up to that ideal of decency in our own lives.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's like, what if we all took a page from Carter's book and tried to be a little more empathetic, a little more respectful, even when we disagree with each other?
I think that would be a pretty good place to start.
I agree. So maybe that's something for all of us to think about. What does decency mean to us? And how can we bring more of it into the world? It's a challenge, for sure, but it feels like one worth taking on.
I think so, too.
All right, well, that's about all the time we have for this deep dive. Thanks for listening, everyone, and we'll catch you next time.
See you then.